I can still feel the glass in my hand. Cold, steady, loyal, more loyal than the woman raising hers like a victory flag. Across the room. The moment she said it, the air cracked. I'm officially gifting myself a well-deserved divorce. She shouted it over the clinking of champagne flutes and the stupid thrum of a playlist her friends pretended to enjoy. The room froze for half a second. Then her little circle erupted. Laughter exploded like cheap fireworks, bouncing off the vaulted ceiling, decorating the silence she left hanging around me. A line had been crossed so loudly it barely needed interpretation. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just watched her, my wife, revel in an applause she didn't earn. The room smelled of citrus cocktails and arrogance. Her friends, dressed like they were auditioning for each other's approval, circled her like loyal satellites, pulling her into their drunken orbit. I could feel their eyes flick toward me, waiting for some reaction. A flinch, a crack, something. I gave them nothing. But Emily, she laughed the hardest, her head thrown back, mouth wide, hand clapping like she was celebrating a miracle she prayed for. I turned to her slowly, calmly. Why are you laughing so hard? I asked, low enough for only her to hear. She'll be generously gifting herself to your husband again right after this party ends. Her face drained so fast the room seemed to dim with it. Silence rippled outward, subtle but poisonous. I didn't need to shout. Truth is its own megaphone. People assume betrayal hits like a punch. Mine landed more like a quiet realization, a cold settling in the chest when you finally accept someone you trusted has been rehearsing their exit for months. I stood there, listening to the party resume in fragments. The chatter, the laughter that came back too forcefully, like they were trying to erase the awkward static. She didn't look at me. She kept performing for them. Exaggerating gestures, shaking her hair. Pretending nothing had broken, but it had. Something inside me slipped out of place, quietly, permanently. The last piece of emotional weight I carried for her loosened and fell. I didn't rage. I didn't storm out or demand explanations. I simply watched the woman who had already packed her heart and sold her vows pretend she was victorious. The calmness was almost frightening for them. Not for me. Revenge doesn't begin with anger. It begins with clarity. I started withdrawing after that night. Not dramatically. Not noticeably. Not the way her friends expected. They wanted theatrics, shouting, begging. Chaos. I gave them spreadsheets, signatures, and silence. Everything she thought she controlled quietly dissolved beneath her. I was careful, deliberate, surgical. Step 1. Freeze the discretionary accounts she'd grown accustomed to borrowing from, the ones she used for weekends that didn't include me. Step 2. Retrieve the security footage she assumed I never checked. Power is information. She had left plenty. Step 3. Drop a single anonymous packet in Emily's mailbox. Screenshots, dates, receipts, and one photo that ended her marriage overnight. Step 4. Let the truth circulate through her friend group gently, subtly, until the social web she thought adored her began collapsing thread by thread. Anyone can break a heart. It takes skill to dismantle a reputation. She didn't notice at first. She kept coasting on the momentum of that stupid toast. But slowly, her circle started fracturing. Fewer texts, missed calls, cancelled lunch plans, sideways glances. She blamed the universe before she blamed herself. That's when I knew the unraveling had begun. The real panic arrived when she realized the divorce she had so proudly announced wasn't going to be the smooth, self-rewarding victory she'd fantasized about. Her lawyer called mine. Her voice finally shook. Her confidence finally cracked. She hadn't read the prenup. Well, correction, she had read the version she thought I'd sign, not the one I actually signed with my attorney 2 years earlier. When I discovered the first suspicious bank deposit. Her reaction? It was almost theatrical, the trembling voice, the disbelief, the sudden attempts to talk things through. Beautiful, really. She showed up at the house one afternoon, mascara smudged, confidence drained from her like water through cracked glass. She wasn't wearing the smug expression from the party. She wasn't laughing. She looked small. Can we sit? She asked. I gestured to the living room, the same one she used to rehearse lies in. She sat on the edge of the sofa like it might swallow her. I didn't mean for the announcement to come out that way, she said softly. You rehearsed it, I replied. Your friends knew. You had the champagne ready. Her throat bobbed. I was hurt. I made mistakes. But we can still, no, I cut in. You don't get to rewrite the script now that the audience left. She looked up at me with eyes that finally held truth, raw, terrified truth. Why? Why are you doing all this? She whispered. I leaned back. Calm, collected, the way you look at someone who forfeited every right to the version of you that used to care. You stood in a room full of people and tried to humiliate me. You made my dignity a punchline. I'm returning the favor. Quietly, legally, permanently. She swallowed a sob. You said, at the party, about Emily's husband, you knew. I knew everything, I said, long before the champagne. Her breath hitched. She understood, finally, that she had never been the one playing the game. She had been the piece. I stood. This is the part where you leave. She hesitated. Then she walked out, shoulders shaking. Realizing the exit she celebrated was now the only door she had left. People think revenge is fire. Mine was ice. And ice preserves things, memories, lessons, moments you want to look at later and remember exactly why you don't offer second chances to people who toast your downfall. As the door clicked shut behind her, the house finally felt quiet, balanced. Mine again. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. I just breathed in the Stillness. Some victories don't need applause. Some. Justice doesn't need an audience. And. Some betrayals deserve endings so cold. They echo. I poured myself a drink and whispered the final truth she never expected. You gifted yourself a divorce.